Hello and welcome to Matt's Casual Cooking. Today we are going to be making imitation domino bread bites. A very fluffy and delicious meal, a snack for any time of year, but especially more during football season. So we're going to go over all the ingredients and how to put them together, and let's get to it.
All right, folks. So as you can see, there's not a lot of ingredients to this, but that's the beauty of this recipe is there's really not a lot that you're going to need and get out and use. But what you are going to need is 3 cups of flour, a half a cup of sugar, 3 teaspoons of some sort of cooking oil. You're also going to need 4 to 8 ounces of melted butter, and you're going to need Parmesan cheese. Now, I can't tell you how much Parmesan cheese. It's just going to depend on how much you want to put on there. Obviously, I'm not using this whole bottle for this recipe, just parts of it. And you are also going to need a packet of yeast. Now, to proof this one, we are going to need 1 cup of warm water, and that's going to be between 100 and 110 degrees, and 1 teaspoon of sugar, and because that's going to get them going. So we're gonna put everything together, and I will see you there. All right, folks. So initially, in your bowl, you just want to take your flour and your sugar, and you just want to put it in there. Just kind of stir it around, just get it nice and combined. And you just want to make a nice little well for yourself. Just kind of push it off to the side. Some of it and just create a nice little well. And then take your yeast. Once it's done, you're going to have a lot of foam on it. This is about 5 minutes worth of yeast activation. So if you don't have anything kind of like this, you might need to start over again. It's not a big deal. Now go ahead and pour it in. And all we're going to do is go ahead. Now you can use an electric mixer for this if you want. We're just going to stir it all together. Now if you don't think you have enough water to combine everything, you can go ahead and add a little bit more, probably about 1/8 of a cup at a time, to kind of make sure that it is really kind of stuck together and that it really combines. So like I said, go ahead. I'm probably going to have to add a little bit more water here, but not a big deal. Alright, so once you've combined it together and added any potentially extra water that we're looking for, go ahead and take your oil, and you're just going to add your 3 teaspoons, and you're just going to mix it into the dough. And that's really all you're going to do. So go ahead and do that, and we'll move on to the next step. Alright folks, so you can see our oil is mixed in, and it's just kind of, it looks lumpy, but that's okay. That's kind of how it's supposed to look. We're going to roll it out on a floured surface after this, but what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and cover it, and you're going to want to let it sit for about an hour or until it doubles in size. So go ahead and do that, and I will see you after an hour. Alright folks, so it's been a little over an hour, and this has more than doubled in size, so go ahead and put it out onto a floured surface. And then what we're just going to do is we're just going to kind of knead some of the flour in. And you're just going to want to kind of punch out some of the air. You can tell the dough is very kind of elastically at this point. That's really what we really kind of want, so it comes out all nice and fluffy. So we don't want to fold in too much. You really want to keep the flour to a minimum. And then we're just going to just punch it down a little bit, kind of fold it together. And you want to make sure it really feels and stays as elastic as it is. You can tell it's very doughy, it's very kind of flabby, kind of what we want to stay with. So that's really it. So just kind of do that for a minute or two, and then I will see you when we start cutting. All right, folks. So the dough is done. It's been kneaded. And what I've done is I've stretched it out and I've kind of cut it at the length normally a breadstick would be. And that's because we want to do that so we don't have to keep trying to roll the whole thing at once. We can work in sections. So then all you want to do is, if you want, take a cutter or take like some scissors. We're just going to cut about 1 inch-ish kind of squares, and go ahead and put that on a baking sheet, either greased, ungreased, or if you want, like I'm using a silicone mat. We're just going to add it to it. Now for your cooking options, once you're done putting them on there, is we're going to turn the oven to 375 degrees, and we're going to cook initially for about 7 minutes. And the reason we're cooking it kind of such a short time is because what we're looking for is we're looking for it to obviously cook, but we're looking for a very light brown on the outside of it. We don't really want it too tough, because basically then it's just kind of almost croutons at that point. So go ahead and do that. Turn your oven to 375, and at 7 minutes, if it's not done, only give it about 2 minutes more. And look, because we don't want to go over and really brown too much of the outside of these. So go ahead and do that, and I will see you at the end. All right, folks, so it's actually been about probably 11 minutes for me, but you can see the dough is kind of browning on top just slightly, and it's still pretty doughy inside. And that's really, if you press down on it, you're going to feel a little bit of a pushback, but you're going to know it's done because you still got kind of like a nice kind of soft fluffy center. So all you're going to do now is you're just going to want to take your butter and you're just going to want to spread a little on top. You don't need to necessarily do too much. So then after you're done, just take your Parmesan cheese and you're just going to want to sprinkle a little on top. Probably a little bit easier to do this with just your hand, just kind of sprinkle it. And that's what you want to do for all of them. So go ahead and do that, and I will see you at the end.
All right, folks, so you can see we are done. We got the nice, again, the very fluffy bread bite. They're very delicious. Now, as far as dipping sauces go, you really can do whatever you want, whatever you enjoy, like honey mustard, marinara, like a butter and garlic or butter and like herb sauce with that as well. It goes really good. So if you enjoyed making this recipe today, like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I want to thank you again for watching and spending your time with me, and have a good rest of your day.